Gene, everybody who's been associated with it, David Day, Eamon Lehman, Sidney Hegan, Dick Baker, and the assembled multitudes that are here. It's a tribute, I suspect, to, in more than one way, to the fact that the one I consider to be really not just the President of the United States, but the first world citizen, I think, to become a leader, elected leader in the world sense. President Obama, of course, born and raised in Hawaii with the Aloha spirit, and raised as well in Indonesia. But I find that the common denominator in all that island people and the Asia-Pacific region. The first person to be elected in our democracy, of course, from the Asia-Pacific region, the region which I believe will determine and signify the 21st century. And so it's particularly pertinent today then that we establish this relationship with Indonesia in general, of course, and more particularly through Bali. I've not had the opportunity to be there myself. My wife has been to Bali as a traveler. We still maintain an email relationship. Hear from friends she made in Bali. Bali, of course, is, as Hawaii is, famous for its hospitality, for its being defined in world terms by the enjoyment, the joy that it brings to people when they come to visit, the culture and the values of Bali in terms of its welcoming the world, its outreach on the basis of our common humanity is something that I find a remarkable interest and historic interest to us. These two island communities, we have these parallels. They were once independent kingdoms. They developed very distinctive political and economic structures, distinctive religious traditions. So by working together with Consul General Martono and the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and those here locally, including those in the legislature who have worked so hard to bring this about, it's a great pleasure. I am hopeful today that I'll sign everything in the correct order. The question of connection, of course, is represented here also by the officers you see here today. Maybe some were a little surprised to see that, but our National Guard has been working very, very closely with Indonesia, particularly in the areas of disaster preparedness and humanitarian assistance. So the connections are not going to be just simply today in terms of the sister state relationship, but they're ongoing and they're deep. And the fact that it's Bali, I think, is something that gives a source of a smile on all of our faces, because all of us are hoping that we'll be appointed to the committee to go and see to it that we have a ceremony like this in Bali itself. So these strong ties, I think, are enhanced by this. So what I would like very much to do at this point is, having mentioned the many people who have helped to bring this together over time, is to I already said hello to Gene Ward, and who has been one of the people leading this charge, but I know that Speaker Suki was interested as well, but I I was hoping.
Governor has not appeared yet.
Maybe
It looks as though he was called away.
He may have been called away, but if he comes, I'd like him to speak a few words. I would like, if it's all right with Denise Konan, perhaps to say a few words on behalf of Maya Soetoro-Ng. I mentioned, of course, the President spending many of his formative years in Indonesia. And of course, at that point, his sister, Maya, came into the family with Barack's mom's second marriage. And she wanted to be here today and could not be, and I think has asked Denise perhaps to say a few words for her.
I'm really pleased to be able to say a few words on behalf of Maya Soetoro-Ng. I had the wonderful opportunity of accompanying her to Yogyakarta last summer for a 3-week trip, and it was the first time she was able to return back to that area in a very long time. She was, of course, born in Jakarta in 1970 and has viewed Indonesia as a key part of her upbringing and her culture. And in our collaboration in Indonesia, she led an effort on peace education and a focus on collaborations through peace. And I know that she very much wanted to be here today to share with each of you, but she wasn't able to be here. She left a few words with me, and I will share those with you now. Maya says, aloha and good afternoon, one and all, and salamat datang. Thank you very much for joining us here to celebrate this momentous occasion. I am thoroughly delighted with today's celebration of the Sister State Agreement between Bali, Indonesia, and Hawaii. These two beautiful islands are places that have so much to offer one another and hold so much meaning for my family. Both places have contributed greatly to my and my brother's social, intellectual, and spiritual development. Both islands have powerful and unique cultures with a great deal to offer beyond the tourism that has long been highlighted as their primary asset. Both places can share the values and understandings of what has long been, as well as contribute significantly to the understanding of what must be in the Asia-Pacific region. Both are cosmopolitan places that welcome people from far away, and yet both are places that are thriving now from local knowledge and strong community-driven development. Both are places of startling beauty and places where we must have thoughtful conversations, planning, and resourceful development toward preserving that beauty and the environment as a whole. These are places of traditional cottage industries and also places where the economy is diversifying greatly and with sophistication. For me, the most important outcome will emerge through the valuable educational exchanges that will occur as our sister states look to the future. Although I regret that I cannot stand with you today, I do look forward to contributing to the development and future planning, partnership, and collaboration of this agreement. Thank you to all who are present and were instrumental in the journey to make this special connection take place. These efforts will surely have a benevolent impact on both Hawaii and Bali, as well as our shared global community.
Thank you. Perhaps I might, there are many legislators here who helped to prepare the way for this day, but I thought I might ask Gene to say a word or two, if he's willing, because he and I have discussed this at some length at different times, going back over a number of years about the relationship to Indonesia, and I thought you might like to say a couple words.
It's an honor to receive a speaking engagement with you and for you. And to know that, as I said earlier to the group, Governor, this has been a 3-year engagement. It's about time we get married. This is what, it's been a courtship, and a lot of people have done a lot of things.
Do we have to have a special session to make that?
You're gonna sign the marriage certificate, sir. This is-
Well,
But it's with the sincere appreciation how you've been really open to the Indonesians as the former ambassador who's now in Indonesia running for president, Jalo, if you remember the meeting, you guys really hit it off very well.
Appreciate you saying so, thank you.
And Hadi, who, I said to the group that this is his 5th trip here as governor, and he has to leave in an hour. So he spent 10 hours on the plane so he can go back to Los Angeles to meet the Minister of Foreign Affairs who's coming to Los Angeles tomorrow morning. So Indonesia has really put their interest on the line. He's testified before the commission, he's testified before the legislature. So Indonesia really takes this seriously, and I know it was before the commission that was headed by Representative Kochola. And the hardest time he ever had was the questions that he got from Representative Kochola, who's here today, which were written. So with that, Governor, it's a special day, because look, this is the 2 most beautiful places in the world. And it's, I think, a way of keeping the 2 at their highest and best game. Some of you play tennis, you always like to play with somebody better than you. And with that, you get better. And I think we can keep Bali and Hawaii right at the world-class standard that they are by doing what they're doing. And Governor, this relationship forwards that together. So thank you for honoring us today.
That's a good way of introducing the Consul General, Hadi Martono, because I believe that if that plane is that close to being done, then, and me being gone, then we have to get that, we need to get this done.
Aloha. So the Honorable Governor Abercrombie, General Daryl Wong, the Honorable Speaker of the House Joseph Suki, Representative Jin Ward, Representative Karen Awana, Representative Romy Kachola, Senator Mike Gabbard, Oswald Stender, OHA Trustee, Jeff Lau, Dean of Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor for me to be here with you on the occasion of the historic event, the signing of the Sister State Province Memorandum of Understanding between the great state of Hawaii and province of Bali in this beautiful city of Honolulu. The signing of this Memorandum of Understanding is a culmination of efforts which is the result of numerous discussions that have been held between our 2 entities. And I know that this occasion and the discussions that we will subsequently have will bear the fruits that we both desire. Today, the people of Hawaii and Bali etched another milestones of history, as the Memorandum of Understanding that is about to be signed will reinforce the people of Hawaii and Bali to work together more closely towards their common goal. Therefore, I am confident that by the signing of the MOU, future collaborations between organizations, institutions, and individuals on issues of policy advice and dialogue in the area of tourism, trade and investment, agriculture, as well as education and youth development will lead to a better Hawaii and a better Bali. At this moment of celebration, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone whose dedication and efforts have contributed to the finalization of this MOU. Among them are Ms. Karen Awana, Chief of the Committee on International Affairs, Dr. Roni Adhikaria, who has been instrumental in facilitating our communication with the government of Hawaii, and finally, Dr. Jin Ward, the man who can be considered as the architect of this historical MOU. I would also like to reserve a special thanks to the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism of Hawaii and the Hawaii-Indonesian Chamber of Commerce for their support. Thank you all for your insights, goodwill, and friendship that have made the signing of this MOU a reality. On behalf of the government of Bali, I would like to say that I look forward to exploring new ways to further develop this cooperative initiative and spirit, and joining hands with Hawaii to build a strong alliance for the common good of our peoples. In closing, I would like to take this opportunity to assure you that the Indonesian Consulate General in Los Angeles will do whatever it can in order to provide a successful implementation of this MOU. Thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you very much for the graciousness of those words and the heartfelt meaning behind it in terms of the relationship that we know can be established and hope will flourish. The documents that are before us here have already been signed by Governor Pustika, and I'll be adding my signature to it today. There are two sets, one in Indonesian and one in English. They've already been signed, as I said, by the President. These are, in fact, memorandum of understanding between the provincial government of Bali and the Republic of Indonesia and the state of Hawaii, the United States of America, on the establishment of sister province-state partnership and cooperation. Lovely sentiment that does prove our diversity in this world does indeed define us rather than divide us, and that island people are connected by the Pacific Ocean, not divided by the Pacific Ocean or separated, but rather we're connected by it. So I'd like at this time to ask Jean and folks from the Indonesia Chamber of Commerce, as well as those legislators that have participated in the passage of the bill, perhaps to come up while I do the signing. First, I'll sign the English documents. Okay. Done in the English
Right,
documents.
can I take these?
Yeah.
Right.
All those who speak English, clap your hands. Now he's going to sign in Indonesian. Those who speak Indonesian and English.
people of Hawaii. I wanted to see everyone to be able to see this wonderful koa box. It is accompanied by a commemoration of the meaning presented to you this day, April 14th, on behalf of all the people of Hawaii. For those of us who live in Hawaii, of course we're familiar with this, but for those who are not, the koa is known as the monarch of the forest. Can grow to heights of several hundred feet in ancient Hawaii, harvested for the elite class or royalty. The trees were long-lived and said to be protected by powerful gods. The native name koa reflects this aspect, meaning bold, brave, and fearless. The natural grains, as you can see, not only provide rich beauty through its strong lines, but it represents, for all of us in Hawaii, endurance, resilience, deep-rooted commitment, the foundation of a relationship. The knowledge that our efforts today will result in a brighter future is what encourages us to move forward in the spirit of friendship. This koa box is Hawaii's gift to you, symbolizing the deep-rooted and positive relationship that we share. Keep the good things of the spirit close to your heart. Ke aloha, ke pumihana. Inside the box is Hawaiian salt. The salt preserves this friendship. The salt cleanses all relationships so that they begin on a solid and positive basis. It reminds us all of the necessity of having our relationships based on friendship, based on resiliency. This Hawaiian salt, therefore, is representing the solidified sea, if it will. Salt, by its very definition, is a preservative. And so we hope that the passage of this koa box with this Hawaiian salt is indicative of the healing and preservative nature of the relationship that we begin today.
Thank you so much.
This is a small token, which I'll leave here on the edge of the commemoration of the koa, the symbol of the state, in a button that can be worn as a symbol of our friendship and Hawaii name.
Thank you, Governor.
Great
Thank you
pleasure.
so much. And in return, Governor, this is just for a remembrance that the relationship between Indonesia and also Hawaii here. And this is a remembrance that once we were here to have a kind of the commemorative MOU, which will be long-lived, hopefully, and then will be also implemented as best as we could.
Good. Thank you very much. This is from the Consul General, with the compliments of the Consul General of the Republic of Indonesia in Los Angeles.
Special little treat here. Those of you who were not at the signing ceremony, if you look around the room, you'll see some people in military uniform, and these folks are representative of the Hawaii National Guard, and they are in the state of Hawaii. The relationship between the private sector and the military is closer than in any other location in the United States. And particularly with the Hawaii National Guard and the Hawaii-Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and the Republic of Indonesia, the relationship that the Hawaii National Guard has built in terms of its humanitarian projects, its disaster relief, its disaster mitigation projects, and also in the preparation of the Indonesian military for peacekeeping activities. The Hawaii National Guard has done an enormous job building the relationship between Hawaii and Indonesia. I also want to tell all of you in the business community that one of the benefits of the Hawaii-Indonesia Chamber of Commerce is that the business sector, the private sector, has benefited enormously from little jewels of wisdom. I mean, some of them a bit big jewels that have been given to us by our brothers and sisters in the military, because we've had the benefit of briefings on what they've learned, and they've done some great teaching in terms of briefings on ways that we can improve, and the ways that we can relate better and work with the culture and do business with Indonesians. So tremendous asset that we have here. And the next commentator I'd like to invite up here is Major General Darrell Wong. Would you please welcome him? He is the Grand Poobah of the Hawaii National Guard.
Before I begin my remarks, actually, you know, the two soldiers you saw over here is from the Hawaii National Guard. And I know in this partnership, you know, cultural preservation and cultural renaissance is very important. So those two soldiers were actually wearing the uniform of the color guard here at the Inalani Palace during the monarchy. So if you have a chance to look at their uniform again, their helmets, their buttons, everything are exact replicas of what the soldiers here that used to guard this Iolani Palace. So all part of this cultural event that we're having today. Another thing that kind of brought me here is I knew David Day from another life. When I took my another degree at the University of Hawaii, I actually studied doing business in Indonesia. So it's kind of like deja vu that as I became the Adjutant General, that part of my studies in getting a master's degree was also studying how to do business in Indonesia. So again, it wasn't all part of it, but it just certain things happen in your life. So Representative Ward, members of HICHAM and the Indonesian community, especially our military here, and it's great to see the performance over here because you know, our military has traveled there so much. It's almost like being home again when we visit Indonesia. As you look at the Hawaii National Guard, we look like Indonesians. Some of us speak Bahasa, not myself. I probably will learn later on. But it's just, when we go there, it's like going home. So I think Bali, this sister state relationship with Bali makes it even more special. But on behalf of Governor Abercrombie, I want to welcome everyone to this reception. You know, aloha and salamat datang. This sister state relationship has been a long time in making and is also related to our state partnership program. The Hawaii National Guard began its partnership in Indonesia in 2007. And one of the key participants who traveled to Indonesia for the formal signing of our state partnership program included Representative Gene Ward, and he's been a champion of this ever since. He has been instrumental in helping establish the sister state relationship with Bali, and we're very thankful for it. The Hawaii National Guard has successfully established this enduring strategic partnership through engagements with the Indonesian National Defense Force, but I'm currently scheduled to travel to Indonesia later this month to observe our senior NCO development with subject matter experts exchange in Indonesia at the end of April. You know, Hawaii and Indonesia share very similar concerns related to humanitarian assistance and disaster relief in this region. Earthquakes, tsunamis, flooding are just some of the threats that we share as island nations. And I want to highlight that island nations, even though we have maybe 8 islands here and they have 17,000 in Indonesia. Just the fact that we are island nations, we're island communities, brings us very close together, and our relationship really begins because of that. And as we talk about strengthening our partnership and strengthening our economic development and even some of these exchanges that we have, you know, no economy can thrive without securing itself from natural disasters. And there is no other country that has more natural disasters than Indonesia. So through these exchanges, we have established a great and solid relationship with the Indonesian National Disaster Management Agency. You know, the United States created an agency called FEMA. Right after the tsunami in Indonesia, the president formed BNPB, which is their FEMA-like organization. So as you can see, even though I wear a uniform, when I go to Indonesia, I meet with my counterpart in the military, but I also meet with their FEMA-like counterpart, which is their leader of their BNPB. And a lot of discussion is how we bring the military and the federal government and interagency together to work together toward a common goal, which is natural disasters. To give you an example, we introduced the Pacific Disaster Center, which is situated on Maui, into Indonesia. And what was the resulting of that is that they created for ASEAN, they created the AHA, the ASEAN Humanitarian Assistance Center there in Jakarta. So an offshoot of just introducing one agency into Indonesia, they have their own relationship with Indonesia too. So some of the things that David Day had talked about, where we can work with HICHAM and we can work with other agents, other people here in the state of Hawaii as we go forward to Indonesia, we would love to continue to do that. You know, Hawaii National Guard senior leaders are actively involved in developing cross-functional roles with the TNI. Our similarities between the National Guard force structure complements their military and missions as far as what they need to do in times of a natural disaster. We're also, David Day talked about peacekeeping. Our reasons for doing these exchanges in peacekeeping and urban search and rescue is really to develop a solid relationship with our military counterparts there. Because as the last time I was there, as I talked to my counterpart, hopefully in the future that we will be asked to go to Indonesia in time of a natural disaster and go hand in hand and help in some of the efforts there. The other thing why we do peacekeeping is at some point we want to learn from the Indonesians how to do peacekeeping. And at some point, the trust level we develop with our relationship is for them to invite us to go on a peacekeeping mission with them in some parts of the world. And the Indonesian military has done a tremendous job in peacekeeping all over this world. The other things that we do here in the state of Hawaii as the Indonesian counterparts come here is we introduce them in how they use their military assets to do HADR, which is Hawaii Humanitarian Assistance. But probably the most important thing we do to them or with them is to have fun. So I've never drunk in kopi luwak before, so now I'm very astute at drinking kopi luwak.
All right.
You know, some of the military that you see here, my command chief, Colonel Hara, these are the young officers enlisted that have done much more engagements in Indonesia than I have. So I think part of everything that we're doing here is to engage our Indonesian counterparts at every different level and at every different ages. Colonel Hara, by the time he raises to a rank of a general, he would have met his counterparts when he was a young officer. And the other thing I would like to also present, which I had talked to Ambassador Dino when he was ambassador in the United States back in Washington, D.C., was even now that you have this Bali relationship, is to ask Bali to send a robotics team here to the state of Hawaii. And the important thing with that is you have very young, smart kids that will engage with the United States and the United States engage with the Indonesian youth. These are the kids that are smart and become leaders in their community. And what great way to have networking at that level. And when they become leaders, they will already have developed this trust and relationship and networking. So again, that's something that I would love to help introduce as our next step going into Indonesia, which is bringing a robotics team here. The University of Hawaii already has a relationship with Indonesia. So in ending, you know, the people in the state of Hawaii are probably very excited But most important, my wife is excited in trying to go to Jakarta in Indonesia. But seriously, you know, this is a great extension of an already developing relationship. You know, Hawaii and Indonesia, I think, is a perfect partnership, perfect match. Like I say, we are island nations that share so many similar things, and it's only the right thing to do. So mahalo and terima kasih.
And it's a wonderful thing to say that the two most beautiful places in the world are now one. The two most beautiful places in the world are now linking together to create what I think is a world class of not only hospitality, but of intellectual, social, and spiritual togetherness. So let us raise our cups. First, I dedicate this toast to Pa Hadi, who for 5 trips, 2 testimonies, and so many of his staff who came here, and he spent over 10 hours on an airplane to come to give us 1 hour to solidify this. We drank first, one time. For Governor Abercrombie, for DBED, for all of the people, particularly Milton Kwok, who bent over backwards to help facilitate this, and for the International Relations Committee, Speaker Suki, Karen Awana, those in the and Romy Kachola, who gave Pa Hadi a hard time to become a sister state. He was the head of the Sister State Commission. We drink to all of those officials who made this possible. That we, as a sister state relationship, that we may have many fruitful exchanges and provide sound advice to each other, that we would respect and learn from each other's culture, each other's language, and be sharing of best practices, that we would constantly endeavor to share our successes, products, services, and to, with each other, create prosperity. That we would cooperate, but yet we would compete. That we would cooperate, but yet we would compete the way that when you play tennis with someone better than you become better. And Bali is going to keep Hawaii honest, and Hawaii is going to keep Bali honest to be the best in the world-class resort that we are, and the world-class people that we had. So to the Bali-Hawaii Indonesian Sister State, we drink, we wish for prosperity, for future, and we declare this now to be done. Aloha. Cheers.